The night was quiet around Human Outpost 9. A cold wind moved across the metallic walls, carrying strange smells from the alien forest. Most soldiers were inside, resting after a long patrol. Only one man stood outside, Sergeant Hale, the watch officer for the night. He liked the silence. It was better than the sound of alarms and danger. But tonight, something felt wrong. He did not know why, but the air seemed heavier. Then he heard footsteps. At first, he thought it was an animal. The forest was full of strange creatures. But the sound was too light, too soft, almost like someone walking carefully. Hale took a deep breath and pointed his light toward the trees. And then he froze. A small figure stepped out of the shadows. Thin legs, shaking. Arms held close to the chest. Skin a pale blue, glowing faintly like moonlight. Two large silver eyes looked straight at him. An alien child. Hale had never seen a child from the local species come this close to a human base. Their people stayed far away. They were quiet and polite, but also fearful of humans. So why would a child be here at night, alone? Hale lowered his weapon and slowly walked forward. "It's okay," he said softly. "I won't hurt you." The little girl's voice shook. "Sir, my mother didn't come home." Her English was broken, but clear enough. Hale's heart tightened. She was scared. Terrified, he looked around quickly. No adult, no guardian, no escort. She was truly alone. "Where is your home?" he asked. "Near the old river path," she said. "My mother went to look for food before the night storm came. She should have returned before dark, but she didn't." Hale felt the first wave of worry. The night storm was not a real storm. It was what humans called the strange nightly energy waves in the forest, bright flashes, loud hums, and unexplained movements. Soldiers avoided the forest at night. Locals avoided it too. Every living thing stayed away. Yet her mother had gone in anyway. What happened? Hale asked gently. The girl looked back toward the trees. Her whole body trembled. There were lights and sounds, like metal, tearing. She pressed her hands over her ears as if remembering something painful. Then I heard her scream. Hale felt cold. Inside the outpost, Corporal Jenna heard voices and came out. "What's going on?" she asked. But when she saw the alien girl, her eyes widened. "Is she alone?" "Yes," Hale said quietly. "And her mother is missing." Jenna knelt beside the girl. "What's your name?" "Leary," the girl whispered. "Leary," Jenna repeated softly. "You're safe now. We'll help you." But Leary shook her head. "No, you cannot stay here." Something followed me. The soldiers looked at each other. Followed. Hale asked, "What followed you?" Leary hugged herself tighter. "The dark thing. The one that comes when the sky burns." She pointed at the forest. "It walks without sound. It hunts in storms." Felt a knot form in his stomach. The locals had many legends about dark hunters, creatures that moved silently at night. Humans always thought they were only stories. But the fear in Leary's voice was real. Too real. Before Hale could speak, a strange noise echoed from deep inside the forest. A low, humming growl. Not human. Not animal. Something else. Liar. I gasped and stepped behind Jenna. Hale raised his weapon this time, pointing at the source of the sound. The night around them seemed to shift. Trees swayed even though there was no wind. The shadows looked thicker than before. Then the outpost lights flickered. A sudden blue flash lit the forest like lightning. The trees shone bright for 1 second, then everything fell into darkness again. "What was that?" Jenna whispered. Leary shook her head. "It is coming. It took my mother, and now it wants more." Hale signaled for backup. 2 more soldiers rushed outside, confused but ready. "Sergeant," one of them said, "should we evacuate the child?" "No," Hale said firmly. "We stay with her. And we find her mother." Leary looked up with tears in her silver eyes. "You will help." "Yes," Hale said. "Humans don't leave people behind. Not even on another world." Another sound echoed closer this time. A heavy step. Then another. Something large moved behind the tree line. The soldiers pointed their weapons, tense and alert. Leary squeezed Jenna's hand and whispered, "Please don't let it take me too." Hale swallowed hard. His instincts screamed that something dangerous was out there, something they were not prepared for. And yet he also knew one thing. He could not send this child away alone. He looked at the forest, feeling the weight of the unknown pressing against him. "Squad," he said quietly. "Prepare for a search mission." The shadows shifted again, as if something was waiting for them inside, watching, hungry, asterisk. The forest loomed in front of the human soldiers like a wall of shadows. The tall trees stood silently, their glowing leaves swaying with a strange rhythm, as if something deep inside the woods was breathing. Sergeant Hale checked his weapon again, even though he had already checked it 3 times. The feeling in his chest was heavy. Too heavy. The alien girl, Leary, stood close to Jenna, holding her hand tightly. Her eyes kept turning toward the dark trees. She seemed ready to run at any sound, any movement, even any whisper of wind. "Stay close," Hale told the team. "No one moves alone." The soldiers nodded. There were 4 of them now: Hale, Jenna, Corporal Rafe, and a young private named Collins. Collins was the most nervous, his hands shaking slightly, but he tried to hide it. None of them wanted to admit they were afraid of the forest. Hale turned to Leary. "You lead us. Show us the path your mother took." Leary hesitated. "It is dangerous. The air changes inside the trees. You feel watched. The forest listens." Hale crouched down, meeting her eyes. "We're with you. Nothing will happen to you." Leary swallowed and nodded slowly. "Then follow me." She moved toward the trees. The soldiers followed, weapons raised, armor lights glowing softly. The moment they stepped past the first tree line, Hale felt the temperature drop. The air changed. It felt thicker, colder, almost heavy. The forest was alive with glowing plants, blue vines wrapped around branches, small floating spores drifting like fireflies. But there was also something else. Silence. A deep, unnatural silence. Collins whispered, "Why is it so quiet?" Jenna answered softly, "I don't know." Even the insects stopped. They walked deeper, following Leary along a narrow path. The girl kept glancing left and right. "My mother collects roots here," she said quietly. "She knows which ones are safe. She never goes far alone." Rafe looked at the ground. "Tracks here," he whispered. 2 sets. 1 adult. 1 small. He looked at Leary. "Yours." Leary shook her head. "No. I waited at home. She told me to stay." The footprints continued for several meters, then suddenly stopped. Rafe knelt down again. "They didn't fade," he said. "They just ended, like she vanished." Leary's breathing quickened. "This is where I heard her scream." Hale tightened his grip on his rifle. They scanned the surroundings carefully. The glowing trees cast strange shadows that moved in ways light shouldn't make them move. Hale felt as if eyes were watching from behind every trunk. Then they heard something. A low humming sound, like metal vibrating under pressure. I froze. "It's the same sound." Hale raised his hand to signal silence. Everyone stopped. The humming grew louder, then softer, then louder again, like something searching. Rafe whispered, "We should fall back." "No," Hale said. We keep moving. They followed the direction of the sound until they reached a small clearing. The leaves on the ground were burned, blackened in a circular shape. Something had blasted the area with intense energy. Jenna pointed to a broken alien tool lying near the center. Maybe she dropped this? Leary ran to it and grabbed it tightly. It is hers. Collins walked toward a tree and stopped. "Sergeant," he said quietly, voice trembling. "Look at this." Hale walked over and his stomach twisted. Claw marks. Deep ones. Fresh. 3 sharp lines across the bark, as if a massive creature had dragged its talons along the wood. Hale touched the marks. The edges were warm. "This was recent," he said. Suddenly, a scream echoed through the forest. This time, it was not a memory. It was real, Lon Lime. I let out a small cry. Jenna grabbed her and held her close. Collins stumbled backward, eyes wide. Direction. Hale said sharply. Rafe pointed to a slope leading deeper into the forest. "Down there. Move," Hale ordered. They ran down the slope, careful but fast, weapons raised. Branches slapped against their armor. The scream came again, short, sharp, full of terror. They reached a narrow ravine, where glowing water flowed through channels of stone. Mist rose from the water, drifting toward them like thin fingers. And then something moved in the mist. A tall shape. Thin, long-limbed, almost human, but not. It stood still, head tilted, as if listening. The soldiers froze. "What is that?" Collins whispered. Before anyone could answer, the shape vanished into the mist almost, melting into the fog. Hale's heart raced. "We need to catch up. It might have her mother." Leary nodded, tears forming. "That is the Dark Hunter. It hides in the fog. It takes what it wants." The ravine led them into another area, this one filled with strange glowing roots and old alien symbols carved into the rock. Warning symbols. Danger signs. Jenna frowned. "Leary, what is this place?" Leary's voice trembled. "The Forbidden Zone. No one from my tribe enters here, ever." "So why was your mother here?" Rafe asked. Leary shook her head slowly. "She said she sensed something wrong. Something waking." Hale stared into the glowing darkness. He felt it too now. Something ancient was here. Something hungry and somewhere deeper inside. A faint cry echoed weak, but alive. Leary grabbed Hale's arm. "That was her. Please. Hurry." Hale nodded. The team pushed forward into the Forbidden Zone, into the jaws of the unknown. The deeper they moved into the Forbidden Zone, the stranger the world became. The air felt heavier, like invisible hands were pushing against their armor. The glowing roots twisted around the ground like living snakes. Strange symbols covered the rocks, old, worn, but still pulsing with faint light, as if they were breathing. Sergeant Hale had seen alien warnings before, but nothing like this. Every instinct inside him whispered the same message. Turn back. But he looked at Leary's small face, full of fear, yet full of hope. He forced those instincts down. "We keep going," Hale said quietly. Leary nodded and led them deeper, her steps slow but steady. Jenna stayed close behind her, one hand on the girl's shoulder, scanning the shadows every few seconds. Collins whispered, "This place doesn't feel normal." Rafe replied in a low voice, "Nothing here is normal." The trees changed shape as they walked. Their branches twisted like claws reaching for the sky. Their leaves glowed a pale green that flickered like weak flames. Strange whispers drifted through the air, not voices, but something that felt like voices. The kind that made your skin crawl. Hale stopped suddenly. "What is it?" Jenna asked. "Do you hear that?" Hale whispered. Everyone listened. At first, there was only silence. Then, A soft, metallic tapping. Slow, steady, like someone dragging metal across stone. Leary's eyes widened. That is the hunter. It marks the stones before it takes someone. Hale signaled for silence and moved forward. The path narrowed between two curved stone walls. Symbols glowed on the surfaces, and as the soldiers passed, those symbols brightened softly, like they were reacting to the humans. Why are they glowing? Collins asked shakily. Rafe answered, they weren't glowing when the girl walked past. Only when we did. Collins swallowed hard. Great. So the forest hates humans too. Jenna put a hand on his shoulder. Stay focused. They reached an open area on ancient plaza, made of cracked stone, half buried under roots. In the center stood a black pillar, tall and smooth, like a giant tooth. The air around it felt wrong. Warmer, but in a sickening way. The roots near it twisted and curled as if trying to avoid touching the pillar. Leary pointed to it. My people say this place was made by the first ones, the ones who came before us, before your species. Hale asked. Yes, she whispered. Long, long before. Collins stepped closer to the pillar. But Hale grabbed his arm. Don't touch it, Hale warned. But don't. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew across the plaza. It wasn't really wind. It was cold, too cold, and it smelled like metal and ash. Leary gasped. It is here, she whispered. A shadow moved behind the pillar. Hale raised his weapon. Eyes up. The shadow stretched across the stone like it was alive. Then it rose slowly, smoothly, like a creature unfolding itself from another world. For a moment, no one could tell its shape clearly. Only glowing white slits where eyes should be. Then it vanished again. Collins cursed under his breath. That thing is playing with us. Leary's voice cracked. That is what it does. A sudden clang echoed across the plaza, sharp and violent. Rafe spun around. Something hit the rocks on the left side. Hale scanned the area. Move, follow the sound. They ran toward the source, weapons raised. The path sloped downward into a narrow tunnel formed by twisted branches. Strange lights flickered inside, pale green, then blue, then red. Like something alive was pulsing inside the trees. The tunnel opened into a cavern filled with glowing fog. The fog swirled around their legs like thick smoke. The ground felt uneven under their boots, soft in some places, hard as metal in others. Jenna knelt and brushed her hand against the ground. It's fused, she said. Half stone, half metal. Like something melted them together. Leary tugged on Hale's sleeve. My mother was here. Hale turned. How do you know? Leary pointed at a torn piece of cloth caught on a jagged rock. It was the same color as the scarf the girl carried. She rushed toward it, but Hale held her back. Wait. Let me check. Too late. A loud crack echoed through the cavern. The ground split under Leary. She screamed as the rock crumbled. Hale grabbed her wrist just in time. Hold on. Hale shouted. Jenna helped pull Leary up while Rafe and Collins covered them. Then they heard breathing. Slow. Heavy. Unnatural. Not human. Not animal. Something else. Something bigger. A huge shape emerged from the fog. Its body shimmered like liquid metal. Its limbs were long and sharp. Its face had no mouth, only glowing slits of light. Collins whispered, shaking, Is that the hunter? Leary hid behind Hale. Yes, it is the one that took her. The creature stepped closer. Slow, confident, unafraid of humans. Hale aimed his weapon. But something inside him knew it wouldn't be enough. The hunter tilted its head, watching them, studying them. Then, from somewhere deeper in the cave, a weak, trembling voice cried out, Leary, help. Leary gasped. Mother. Hale gritted his teeth. They were close, so close. But the hunter stood between them and the voice. The team tightened into a defensive circle. The forbidden zone had shown its true danger, and the real battle was just beginning. The hunter blocked the path like a living wall of metal. Its glowing eyes shifted between the humans, studying them one by one. It did not breathe. It did not blink. It only waited, as if deciding which of them to take first. Hale's grip tightened on his rifle. He didn't dare fire. The creature was too fast, too strong. And they were too close to Leary. One wrong move could bring disaster. Behind them, Leary's mother's weak voice echoed again from deeper inside the cavern. "Leary, please." Leary tried to run toward the voice, but Hale caught her by the arm. "Wait. It's not safe." Tears welled in the alien girl's eyes. "She is dying." Hale looked at the hunter, then at his team. They couldn't fight it. Not here. Not now. But maybe they could outrun it. "Smoke grenade," he whispered. Collins quickly pulled one from his belt and rolled it to the ground. Thick white smoke exploded across the cavern. Visibility dropped instantly. "Go!" Hale shouted. The team rushed into the fog. Heavy footsteps echoed behind them. The hunter was moving too, but the smoke confused its glowing eyes for a moment. Only a moment. Enough for the soldiers to sprint deeper into the cavern. Following the faint cry of Leary's mother, the fog thinned as they reached a narrow metal door set into the stone wall. The door was old, rusted, half buried in roots. Hale ran his hand across it. "This isn't natural," he said. "Someone built this." Jenna pointed to a panel beside the door, an alien device, covered in dust but still glowing faintly. "Looks like a lock." Leary stepped forward, recognizing the symbols. "These are from the first ones. My people cannot read them. But my mother could." "That means she opened this door," Hale said. Suddenly, the hunter's low growl echoed behind them. It was getting closer. "Open it, now!" Rafe shouted. Leary pressed her hand to the panel. The symbols lit up and shifted in patterns. A deep mechanical hum filled the air. The door slid open slowly, revealing a dark tunnel descending downward. "Inside," Hale ordered. They rushed in. Hale pulled Leary inside last, then hit a switch beside the door. It slammed shut just as something heavy crashed against the other side. The hunter had reached. It boomed on another crash. Boom. The entire tunnel shook, but the door held for now. Collins exhaled shakily. "We can't go back that way." "No," Hale said. "We find another exit." And we find Leary's mother. The tunnel was narrow and steep, lit only by dim blue strips running along the walls. Strange machines hung overhead, silent, ancient, covered in dust. "What is this place?" Jenna whispered. "A facility," Rafe answered. "Something old. Very old." As they walked deeper, the tunnel opened into a massive underground chamber. The room stretched far into the darkness. Rows of pods lined the walls, large, capsule-shaped, connected by thick cables. Most were broken. Some were empty. Some still held shadows inside. Rafe approached a cracked pod and wiped the dust from its surface. Inside was a skeleton, thin, long, and completely alien. Collins stepped back. "This place. It's a lab," Hale nodded. "But not one built by Leary's people." Leary walked slowly between the pods, eyes wide with fear. "We were told the Forbidden Zone was cursed, full of spirits. But this is not spirits." "No," Hale said. "This is science." A soft cry echoed across the chamber. Leary turned toward the sound instantly. "Mother." She ran toward a smaller room at the far end of the chamber. Hale and the others followed. Inside, they found her mother lying on the floor, wrapped in glowing cables that pulsed with strange energy. Her skin was pale. Her breathing was weak, but she was alive. Mother. Leary fell beside her, sobbing. The woman opened her eyes slowly. Leary, you came. Jenna knelt and checked her pulse. She's stable, but she's been drained by something. Hale looked at the cables. They resembled the same material used for the pods. Whatever built this place, it was experimenting. Leary's mother whispered, the hunter guards the facility. It takes who it needs. Rafe looked at Hale. We need to get out of here before it breaks through. As if on cue, a loud metallic roar filled the chamber. The hunter had found another way in. Hale lifted his rifle. Everyone move. Carry her. Jenna and Rafe picked up Leary's mother gently. The room's lights flickered as the hunter's shadow appeared in the doorway. Its glowing eyes scanned the chamber. Collins fired a burst of shots more to distract than to injure. Sparks burst from the creature's metallic surface, but it barely reacted. Instead, it turned its full attention toward the humans. Run! Hale shouted. They raced toward a corridor on the opposite side of the chamber. The hunter gave chase, its claws scraping against the metal floor with terrifying speed. Lights flickered. Overhead, pipes rattled, machines hummed to life. The ancient facility was waking up, and the hunter was not going to let them escape easily. The corridor trembled as the hunter chased them. Every step it took shook dust from the ceiling. Every breath the soldiers took felt too quick, too shallow. They were running, but the creature behind them was not running yet, was gliding, sliding over the metal floor like a shadow with claws. Move, move, move. Hal yelled. Rafe and Jenna carried Leary's mother between them. The woman was weak, but she kept whispering, Leary, stay close. Stay close. Leary held her mother's hand tightly, tears streaking down her glowing blue cheeks as she ran beside them. The hallway opened into a large chamber round, with high walls and a cracked glass dome above. Strange machinery hummed softly in the center, glowing with red and blue lights. Collins skidded to a stop. Where do we go? He shouted before Hale could answer. The hunter slid into the chamber behind them. Its tall, metal-like body shimmered in the dim light. Its limbs elongated, shifting shape. Its glowing eyes narrowed. Focusing on the group with cold hunger, Leary screamed and hid behind. Hale, the hunter, stepped forward, slow, confident, certain. It no longer rushed. It did not need to. They were trapped. Rafe raised his rifle. We can't outrun it anymore. Then we hold. Hale said. Jenna gently placed Leary's mother behind a fallen crate. Stay down. Then she took position beside Hale. The hunter took another step. Its claws dragged across the floor, producing a metallic screech that stabbed into their ears. Jenna fired first. A burst of bullets hit the creature's chest. Sparks flew everywhere. The hunter didn't stop. Collins fired next. Rafe joined him. Rounds bounced off the creature's armor-like skin. The thing moved forward, unbothered, as if the bullets were nothing more than soft rain. Leary covered her ears, terrified. Hale cursed under his breath. It's not working. Aim for the eyes. They fired again, this time aiming for the glowing slits on its head. The creature jerked backward, finally showing pain as one shot cracked a glowing eye. It let out a horrible sound. A metallic scream, like tearing steel. The moment was brief, but it was the first sign of weakness. The hunter changed shape suddenly, its arms spreading into long-bladed limbs. It rushed forward in an instant. Fall back. Hale shouted. Collins jumped aside just in time as one blade tore through the crate where he stood a second ago. Sparks and debris exploded in the air. The hunter swung at Hale next. Hale blocked with his rifle, the force nearly knocking him off his feet. Jenna fired point blank at the creature's arm to push it back. The bullet slowed the limb just enough for Hale to slip away. The hunter shrieked again and struck the floor, cracking the metal like glass. "It's getting stronger." Collins yelled. "No," Leary's mother whispered weakly from behind the crate. "It is not stronger. It is angrier." The hunter focused on the weak voice. On her, it knew she had something important. It lunged. Hal reacted instantly. He sprinted across the chamber and shoved Leary's mother out of the way as the creature's blade slammed down where she had been lying. The floor shattered. Leary screamed. "Mother?" The hunter pulled its blade free and turned toward Leary and her mother. Its glowing eyes flickered. It was choosing its next target. Hale aimed his rifle again, but Rafe grabbed his shoulder. "Sergeant, look." The machinery in the center of the room was reacting. The lights pulsed rhythmically faster now, syncing with the hunter's movements, almost feeding off them. The hunter wasn't just a guardian, it was a product of this place. Leary's mother whispered, struggling to speak. "This machine, it was used to grow the hunters. My people discovered it long ago. We thought it was broken. We were wrong." Hale stared at the glowing machine. "If the machine controls them, then breaking it might stop the hunter," Jenna finished. The hunter charged again, blades slicing the air. "Cover me." Helly shouted. He sprinted toward the machine. Collins and Rafe opened fire to slow the creature. The hunter hesitated, confused by the sudden movement toward the machine. Hale reached the center panel. Strange symbols glowed, shifting quickly. He didn't understand them, but he saw one detail. A large, red symbol shaped like a spiral. It looked like a shutdown command. He slammed his hand against it. The machine shrieked. The lights flashed violently. Energy crackled across the room. The hunter froze. Its limbs twitched. Its metal body shivered. Like liquid, as if losing control. "Do it again." Jenna yelled. Hale slammed the symbol again. The entire chamber trembled. More machinery powered down. Lights dimmed. The hunter let out a distorted screech, half alive, half collapsing. Then it turned toward Hale, even weakened. It still wanted to kill. It lunged with both blades, but Rafe tackled Hale out of the way at the last second. The hunter's limbs plunged into the machine instead. Energy exploded. A blinding flash filled the chamber. The hunter was thrown backward, crashing into the wall with a metallic howl. Its body sparked, limbs twitching. Armor cracking, it wasn't dead, but it was injured, and angrier than ever. Hale caught his breath. "We need to get out of here, now." Behind them, Leary's mother whispered the words they least wanted to hear. "Sergeant." This wasn't the only hunter. Asterisk silence followed Leary's mother's words. Heavy, cold. The kind of silence that made the air feel thin inside the ancient chamber. Hale stared at her weak face. "What do you mean? How many?" She swallowed painfully. "More than one. Many more. This place was their birthplace. The machine you damaged." She breathed sharply. "It only slowed one. The others. They sleep deeper in the facility." As if on cue, the walls groaned. Somewhere in the distance, a long metallic roar echoed through the tunnel's deep. Ancient and angry. Collins's face turned pale. "Oh no, that wasn't our hunter." Rafe checked his rifle. "Then we need to move before they wake fully." Hale nodded. "Grab everything useful. We're leaving now." Jenna and Rafe gently lifted Leary's mother again. Leary held her mother's hand and stayed close, terrified but determined. The girl didn't cry this time. She didn't shake. She walked with a strange, quiet courage because she believed the humans could save her. Hale saw that look in her eyes. It made him straighten his shoulders. Around them, the chamber lights flickered, dimmed, then brightened again. The machine sparked weakly behind them, sending waves of blue light across the floor. The hunter that had been thrown back was still twitching. But now it was dragging itself upright, slow, damaged, but not done. Hale pointed down the exit corridor. Move, now. They ran. The injured hunter screeched, its limbs scraping violently against the metal floor. But it couldn't chase at full speed. Body flashed with unstable energy every time it tried. Still, the roars from deeper inside the facility were getting louder. Jenna whispered as they ran. "Sergeant, if more of those things activate, they won't," Hale said, even though he wasn't sure. "Not if we get out fast." The corridor ahead forked into two paths. One sloped upward toward the surface. The other dropped into darkness, the deep lab levels where more hunters likely slept. Hale pointed up. "We go left." But Leary's mother whispered urgently, "No, there is a control room to the right. It sends signals to the hunters. If we leave now, they will follow us to the surface." Jenna stopped. "She's right. Those things will chase anything living." Hale turned slowly toward the dark lower path. The air down there pulsed with faint light. Strange metal sounds echoed from below. It was dangerous. It was the last place. He wanted to go, but if they didn't disable the hunters, the entire human outpost might fall. He nodded. "All right. We go down. Just long enough to shut it down." Everyone tensed, but no one argued. Humanity's weakness had never been fear. It was always hesitation, and Hale refused to hesitate now. The lower tunnel felt alive. The walls vibrated with soft hums. Strange cables pulsed with light, like veins carrying energy deeper into the facility. The air smelled of ozone and old metal. Collins whispered, "Feels like we're inside a giant machine." Rafe replied, "We probably are." Leary walked quietly beside Hale. This place was forbidden for a reason. Even my elders feared it. "We fear it too," Hale said softly. "But fear won't stop us." Leary looked at him with wide silver eyes. "Humans are strange. You are scared, but you keep walking. That's how we survive," Hale said. A sudden crash echoed behind them. The injured hunter had followed them into the tunnel. Its glowing eyes flickered unsteadily. Its body spasmed as it crawled forward, broken, but still deadly. But before Hale could fire, another sound echoed, a loud metallic thud. Then another. Something else was moving in the darkness ahead. Something bigger. Rafe raised his weapon. More hunters waking up. "Keep moving," Hale ordered. The control room must be close. They rushed forward until the tunnel opened into a circular chamber filled with humming consoles. A large, glowing core pulsed in the center, most like a heart. Leary's mother whispered weakly, "That is the control core. Destroy it, and the hunters lose command." Jenna placed her down gently. "We'll handle the rest." But the chamber shook violently. Two new hunters stepped from the shadow staller, sleeker, glowing brighter than the first. They tilted their heads in unnatural movements, studying the humans like insects. Collins whispered shakily, "Sergeant, we can't fight three." "No," Hale agreed. "We can't fight them." He pointed at the core. "But we can outthink them." He grabbed a grenade from his belt, pulled the pin, and ran toward the central console. The hunters reacted instantly, rushing forward like silver lightning. "Helly!" Jenna shouted. He slid under a metal pipe, rolled, and slammed the grenade against the core. Sparks flew. The core glowed hotter. The hunters screamed in perfect unison, charging straight toward him, but Rafe and Jenna opened fire, forcing them to dodge. The grenade exploded. The chamber filled with blinding white light, then dash silence, a heavy, final silence. When the light faded, the hunters collapsed like puppets with cut strings. Their bodies twitched once, then went still. The humming stopped. The air grew still. The control core was destroyed. Leary's mother breathed out in relief. "You did it." Leary hugged Hale's leg tightly. "You saved us." Hale smiled and ruffled her hair. "Humans don't run from monsters." Then he looked at his team. "All right, let's get everyone home." But as they turned toward the exit tunnel, Jenna froze. "Sergeant." The ground. The floor vibrated softly. Something massive was waking deeper below. The last hunter, the first hunter, the original, the one the others were modeled after. Hale's jaw clenched. The real fight was still coming. The floor of the tunnel shook again, harder this time. Dust fell from the ceiling. Cracks split across the metal plates beneath their feet. Hale grabbed the wall to steady himself as a deep, monstrous rumble echoed from below. Jenna whispered, "Sergeant, that doesn't sound like the others." "It's not," Leary's mother said weakly. "That is the first hunter. The original creation, stronger than all the others combined." Collins swallowed. "And we woke it up." Hale took a slow breath. "Then we finish what we started." He checked his rifle, though he knew it wouldn't be enough. The others followed his lead. Even Leary wiped her tears and stood straight, trying to be brave for her mother. The ground shook again, this time a violent tremor that nearly knocked them all off their feet. Rafe looked back toward the lower tunnel. "It's coming." Hale scanned the chamber for anything useful. "We need a plan. We can't outrun that thing. And we can't shoot it down." Jenna pointed to a huge energy conduit pipe stretching across the ceiling. It was glowing bright blue, humming with unstable power. "If we can overload that pipe, maybe we can drop the whole ceiling on it." Collins stared at the pipe. "That's enough power to blow half this place apart." "Exactly," Jenna said. Rafe nodded. "I'm in." Hale looked at the team, tired, injured, outnumbered, but still ready to fight. That was humanity, not the strongest, not the fastest, but the ones who refused to give up. "All right," Holly said. "Rafe Collins, you to overload the conduit. Jenna, stay with Leary and her mother. I'll draw the first hunter." "What?" Jenna protested. "Hey, that's suicide." "Only if I die," he said with a thin smile. "And I'm not planning to." Before anyone could argue, the tunnel behind them exploded outward. The first hunter rose from the darkness. It was massive, twice the size of the others. Its body was covered in thick, dark armor woven with glowing red lines. Its limbs were long, sharp, and flexible like whips. Its glowing eyes locked onto the humans with cold hunger. "Leary?" gasped and grabbed her mother tightly. The first hunter stepped forward. 1 step, 2 steps. The air vibrated with its presence. Hale stepped forward too. He didn't shake. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He stood between the creature and his team. "Hey, metal face," Hale said. "Come get me." The first hunter tilted its head, then charged. Hale sprinted through the chamber, diving behind fallen consoles and jumping over broken pipes. The first hunter smashed through everything in its way, tearing machinery apart like paper. Its blades slashed inches from Hale's back as he ran. "Hurry!" Hale shouted over the radio. Rafe and Collins had reached the energy conduit. Sparks flew as Rafe ripped open a panel. Collins connected cables with trembling hands. "We're almost there." Collins yelled. Jenna kept Leary and her mother behind cover, shielding them from falling debris. "Stay low. Don't move." The first hunter leaped onto a raised platform and swung one blade down at Hale. Hale rolled aside, the blade slicing the floor where he had stood a moment earlier. "Hale, get clear." Rafe shouted. "Not yet." Hale yelled back. "Tell me when it's ready." The first hunter lunged again. Hale fired a burst at its eyes, forcing it to turn its head. It screeched more annoyed than hurt, but Hale wasn't trying to hurt it. He was trying to keep it focused on him. "Sergeant," Collins called. "We only need 1 more minute." "You've got 30 seconds, Holy replied. The first hunter knocked aside a heavy console and slammed its massive limb into Hale's chest. Hale hit the ground hard, breath knocked out of him. "Hale!" Jenna screamed. The creature raised its blade to finish him, but Leary's small voice pierced the air. "Leave him alone." The first hunter paused, just long enough. "Hale!" Rafe shouted. "Do it now." Hale grabbed a metal pole from the ground and slammed it into an active energy socket. Sparks exploded upward, racing along the conduit. The pipe above them glowed white. Too bright, too hot. Rafe grabbed Collins and dove behind a console. Jenna shielded Leary and her mother with her own body. Hale braced himself. The conduit detonated. A blinding explosion ripped through the chamber. The ceiling collapsed. Metal beams fell like rain. The whole world shook with violent force. The first hunter shrieked as tons of metal crashed down onto its body. Its glowing eyes flickered, dimmed, then vanished under the rubble. Silence, heavy, final dust filled the air. Hale coughed, pushing himself up from the rubble. Everyone alive. He rasped. One by one, the answers came. Rafe alive. Collins still breathing. Jenna, we're okay. Leary ran to Hale and hugged him tightly. "You saved us." Again, Hale smiled weakly. "Humans are stubborn. We don't know when to quit." Leary's mother looked at the humans with tears in her silver eyes. "Your bravery, your strength, changed everything today." As they made their way back through the collapsing facility, Hale looked at his team, wounded, exhausted, but standing. That was the HFY moment. Not because humans were the strongest, but because they were the ones who refused to let fear decide the ending. When they reached the surface, the dawn light broke across the alien forest. The danger was gone. The hunters were silent forever. Leary squeezed Hale's hand. "Sir." "Thank you." Hale looked out over the glowing forest. "That's what humans do," he said softly. "We fight for those who can't." And together they walked toward home.